Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rage Pegel here. We're streaming some more ladder. I'm back with some Moloch Hamden, and we're gonna push forward. Maybe see if we can get to respec what I'm gonna consider respec range. As you can see, we're doing a buttload of damage of Holy Fire right now because it rules, and plus one to Holy Fire weapon kind of helps. But we're about to enter the jail and whatnot, like that kind of area, and then move our way to the Herodric Sanctum, the Arcane Sanctuary, sorry. And then once we're through this area, because Holy Fire is really working for me right now, we'll probably push on to... I don't know. I might try actually see how far I get, because there are certain quality of life things that Holy Fire has in the early game that honestly beat hammers. Where hammers come into their own is nightmare and hell. All the things you can kill. You don't have to worry about immunities. And then obviously, just not having to worry about immunities for the most part. Obviously, Act 2. There's a lot of magic immunes in certain areas, but, you usually don't have to worry about it. And then, just damage output. Like, you can kill everything pretty quickly, pretty efficiently. So, until they inevitably nerf it or something, which, I can't... I'm not going to sit here and be like, I don't want them... I want them to nerf it, because I don't. I think that's dumb. I'm one of those everything gets stronger kind of people. But at the same time, I get it. It's like crazy damage. I think that if they can make it a way where it can be powerful, I wouldn't want to see it go from... If they could take a third of the damage off top, right? If you're at like 14k Uberspect, if they could get that down to like a 10k or something, but give you more viability in your build options, that'd be kind of cool. Maybe you could change up synergies. I don't know. Do something. I like that it's got vigor synergy and stuff like that. But I think that something that a lot of people gets lost on a lot of people when they're talking about how hammers is super powerful is that, and I point this out all the time, I don't trade. So like my Hamadin they never get to 14k damage, because I never have an Enigma, and I never have hopefully I find a Shaco, and hopefully I can grind to get runes to create a Hodo, but I never am gonna have, the chances of me ending up with something like an Enigma, just as an example, and a fucking offhand C to A and all that shit, are pretty slim for the most part. So, in my perspective, the idea of ending up with like 14k damage hammers is like, that's super unlikely. So for me, lowering the effectiveness of hammers seems like a worse idea, because I play at a, just like in a different realm to like the way a lot of these streamers or like whoever it is talks. Like, God bless Mr. Llama. I really value his opinion on the game, and I think he's incredible and he's wonderful for the community. But it is, and he's right, if you listen to his video on it, he talks about dropping that down, changing it so you end up down at like 6k damage or whatever. But the issue with that is that for those of us who don't have an Enigma, just as an example, because it's +2 to skills, right? And then you get teleport, and then you get all the quality of life things to make it so much better. Then you can have C to A in your offhand, or whatever it is, because you're not using it to cast. You're not using it for a teleport stuff. Like, there's a bunch of differences that sort of stuff makes. If you don't have that, then you're not... You can still get a lot of damage and whatever, but a lot of the quality of life things that make the Hamadin so effective at that tier aren't there. And so for those of us, the Hamadin is a great, kind of like how the Sorceress has teleport. It's a great way to get the ball rolling if you don't trade. You know, like it's just a really good way to get the ball rolling, and that's what. No, we won't do. We'll second guess ourselves because I don't want to do a teleport run yet. But because of that, you know, it's a different perspective. I'm not saying they shouldn't nerf it. I mean, obviously hammers are crazy strong. I personally think that if you just are a casual player or play like a moderate amount, like it's not your job, if you will, that the game, even after you spec, the game remains to be extremely dangerous on hell difficulty and tough in places. What I'd like to see is I would like to see the melee builds that aren't Paladin get buffed, because even Paladin's not that good. Avenger's alright, you know, it's playable, but it's nothing like a Hammerden or an Elemental Druid or a Sorceress or Trapsin or whatever. Because even I think the fundamental difference between Hammerden, which is what makes people like Hammerden and all those other classes, is they all have immunity issues, whereas the Hammerden for the most part doesn't. You know, and anything like a Lightning Sorceress might be the highest quote-unquote damage output in the game potentially, but that doesn't matter if you don't have an Infinity and a Griffin's Eye. You know, and a Griffin's Eye is not a great choice. It's just an alternative to get you that help of lightning immunes and lightning res creatures. You know, and obviously there's the massive inconsistencies in the lightning damage, which kind of make it not nearly as good. Like, obviously that's the trade-off, is that you have the highest potential damage output, but you end up with a lower average potentially, because you have a massive distance like between your minimum and maximum damage, because your minimum damage is usually going to be like, it's like 1 for a lot of the game. It'll be like 1 to 3,000. Anyway, it'll be interesting to see what they do and what ideas the devs put forward, because I'm interested and open to anything. Obviously, they did some great choices. Like Terror Zones was a really, really good idea, I think. Just like allowing you to mix it up a little and maybe farm different areas. You know, because like, let's just take the Cold Sorceress as an example. I personally like to play Hydra Orb or, you know, Meteor Orb or something like that. I just like that. I like having the 2 damage types. If Lightning didn't require Infinity, or like had enough synergies to get there damage-wise without Infinity, or without dumping all your points into it, then I might try that. But I like having Frozen Orb is my preferred skill to use. I just like the way it works, and I think it looks cool. It's very visually pleasing for me, so I like to play it. You know. And it's also, I like not having to flee from the bulk of my enemies, because that's the feeling you get when you play can get when you play a single damage type character that's, you know, not like magic damage, for example. But, you know, obviously the reason Hammerden is good is just because it deals magic damage, so it deals damage to, you know, pretty much everything. And you can be like, oh, it's too powerful. It's like, yeah, I guess it does a lot of damage, but that's not why we like it. We like it because it does a lot of damage to everything. With the Blizzard Sorceress, Lightning Sorceress, they do crazy amounts of damage, but they're a one damage type. Oh yeah, Terror Zones. What I was going to say is it's nice, like the Cold Sorceress is a good example, where you've got Ancient Tunnels and what else, right? Well, with Terror Zones, there's potential. You might have another area you could do, maybe. Or maybe you have a character type that has no real good level 85 area, and then suddenly it's like, oh, you can go and do wherever. Because maybe it's an easy spot, or it's yeah. But definitely wish they would buff melee builds. You know, I'd love to see all of the not werebear, because that's like more tanky, but I would love to see, you know, all of the where creature builds, and maybe the druid summons get buffed. The druid itself is obviously, the elemental druid is like you know, just like the Hammerden in the sense that you have... What do we got here? That's pretty good for the current level. We're not going to... Fire res 5. What's my fire res at? 41. I mean, we're probably better off equipping... Is it this one here? Probably better off equipping that for now and saving this ring till after we... Which we will obviously keep it and use it after we respec. Yeah, I have a love affair with the barbarian class in the sense that that's the one I always most want to play. It's the one that most interests me, but it... You know, it wasn't the first class I played. First class I played back in the day was Paladin, and boy, was that a shit show, because I didn't know at the time that, you know, like there's lots of things I didn't know because of the first game like this I played, and it was a great many years ago. And I learned a lot of hard lessons in builds and like wasting skill points and all that kind of stuff. Learned them all the hard way. It was a very difficult first playthrough. Very, very difficult. Nigh impossible even. But... You know, you come out the other side of it, you learn tricks here and there, and you see other people doing stuff, and you read things, and the fucking battle chest instructional guide was terrible because it encourages you to use objectively bad things all the time. I mean, my first playthrough was a Fawns Paladin, for Christ's sake. It was horrific. It took me so long to get through hell. It was so hard and so slow. Because I just didn't understand, like, there were things that were new to me for that. You know, and I think a lot of people had that experience. You know, I loved it just the same, but... so... But yes, the Barbarian was like 100% one of those classes that you could be like, I'm going to play this. Oh my god, this game is impossible. Oh my god, I can't find good gear. Oh my god, whatever. And then if you played a Sorceress, it's like... fucking get to Frozen Orb and you're good. So, without equipment... Oh, well, we fucking made that work all right, didn't we? So, how hard will Juriel be? And Dariel died nigh instantly, so... I'll pick up. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they go. Obviously, it's like talking about the melee builds. Like, Grief is expensive enough. People say it's not too expensive. It's expensive enough. We need something else to get us there. We need something to get us... Like, I would hyposit this, that you are not in a good position with melee characters until you can play like a double swing barbarian or a berserk barbarian, or preferably whirlwind. But I mean, that skill is just hard to use. That's half the reason it sucks. God, I love it though. You should be able to... There should be something you can make or something you can get or an addition made to the game, even just as simple as like upping the average damage of all the weapons to compensate for all the extra health everything has. You know, I think people have pointed this out many times, that when they patched the game with a lot of destruction expansion, they increased the health of everything but didn't increase the damage of weapons to compensate for the fact that, you know, they increase the health of everything. So, yeah, what they should do is they should add something, you know, make a change that makes it viable for you to grind with a character that is in a reasonable amount of time, as in you can actually do effective grinding with the character at hell, at high difficulties, without a grief. To get said grief. Because without it, it's so hard and painful. And, you know, I just leveled a Fodin, that was one of those skills that trapped me on, you know, one of my early playing experiences back in the day, like not knowing how it works, how effective it would be, you know, just not understanding certain things about the game. Let's see what we got here. 2. What do I got? Yeah, okay. Just not knowing certain things about the game, but they improved it. And so I tried playing through and Holy Bolt, like when you're fighting, I really enjoyed playing that character, and when you're fighting demons and stuff, Holy Bolt is so good, especially once you've got the synergies and whatever. But they don't, and I'm not saying they shouldn't be like this, but the way they keep it reasonable is that it obviously only damages demons and undead, which makes playing through certain areas of the game very difficult and very hard, because your primary damaging skill does nothing. And when a lot of the creatures that aren't demons or undead have lightning immunity, conviction is a must. There's no, like, whenever somebody says you can change the build is not viable, it's only or is viable to play with, like, like if we look at conviction, so if you like, you could play salvation aura, or you could play a redemption aura, like to keep yourself and your mercenary alive. You can only do that once you're max level, and if you're only running a specific area. If you want to do anywhere else that isn't like Chaos Sanctuary, for example, you 100% have to have conviction aura on, because if you run into anything that isn't, like, most of the shit you'll run into, or was my experience, that doesn't have that isn't demon or undead, will be lightning immune, and then, like, you have no way of damaging them, because Holy Bolt, which is an incredibly good skill when you've got the synergies up, just the damage is crazy, doesn't matter because it won't damage them. So the only damage you have is the lightning damage or your mercenary. Which, I mean, is fine. Like, I get that you're going to run into things you can't kill. That's perfectly fine. But in certain areas of the game, it's, like, no, impossible. So, I guess what I'm getting at is that it starts to annoy me when people just talk non-stop about, like, max level builds. What's more important to me is something that that someone who doesn't, I mean, maybe you do a little bit of trading, maybe you don't. But someone who is interested in playing in the game more casually can effectively use. So you want something that you can, for solo play, like, it's all good to know what you want for max play, for, like, group play and all that kind of stuff. But it's knowing what works for solo play and just a more casual experience that doesn't involve trading to get your shit better and trading whatever. Like, that's way more important to me than discussing what is, like, what the meta of the perfect, like, spec build is. It's good to have a goal, but, you want it within reason. As long as he's attacking me, we're good. God, it's so easy now. It was nigh impossible back in the early days of playing this. Nigh impossible. Yeah, I got stuck on this more than a few times back in the day. Again, just knowing the meta of the build. Now, I believe that's another Gleam Scythe, isn't it? This is the game telling me to play a double swing barbarian. So, let's go here. Identify items. Yes. Over here, talk to Drognan. Go talk to Jaren, or whatever his name is. Is it Jaren? Yeah, I do have to talk to him. Now we talk to Mashif and travel east. Anyway, I don't want anyone to think like I consume, like I do. I consume all of that stuff. I love looking at builds and whatnot. That's part of playing the game, I think. But there's definitely seems to be, some people seem to treat certain aspects of it as if we all have enigmas on every character, and ethereal giant freshers that are made into a perfect roll inside or perfect roll infinity or whatever on our fucking mercenary while we're rocking our fucking Shakos and our twin SOJ, you know, high lords, fucking whatever, and Trang's gloves and or whatever the fuck it is. And it's like, we're just not, you know, we're just not. Okay, so let's look at what we got here. So that's not good. This might currently this is better than that. This has a bit of life stolen, but I think I can put sockets in that anyway, can't I? 1 mana after each kill doesn't do anything. 6 poison damage over 2 seconds. That's alright. 100 cold damage. I mean, this is probably better because the poison damage stacks. So we're probably better off with this anyway. Do we know with that? And what's that? Yeah, another Gleam Scythe. Not much damage on the Gleam Scythe. But we'll keep them. You know, you got to keep your early game ones. Now, we could get good stuff here, though. Although I think, yeah. Got so many Infernal Craniums. No, we'll get rid of that. We'll sell both of those. Okay, now we go here. We're going to look. No, nothing. So, we are going to go and try and get the first waypoint, and then we're going to start shopping ourselves a teleport staff. We also want to pick up all flails because we could get lucky and get our Hodo base. Because the sooner we get that out of the way, the better. You know what would be pretty cool right now? Like a good drop. I mean, I don't think you can't get it at this level, so we wouldn't. But what would be a cool drop would be the Atlantean would be sick. Because then we could keep playing Holy Fire for a little longer. Which it doesn't matter. We could respec into Hamilton whenever at this point. There are certain areas that are kind of a pain in the ass. With hey, well, that's nice. Oh, I suppose we could do it straight away because it's super simple. It's like real easy to get through, so we may as well. Yeah, the Atlantean would be a sick drop because it would it works. You know, it's a pretty. I'm gonna say use the word decent melee weapon. They all kind of suck, so that's a relative term, but it's a reasonably decent melee weapon. And using it in conjunction with Holy Fire to level would be, it'd be a cool, interesting way to get there because we just respec into Hamilton when the time comes. When we get to the point where it's like Holy Fire ain't cutting it anymore at all, you just go, all right, well, it's time to go Hamilton. And then you never look back. Or you go Hamilton till, 80, and then you respec into Smite. Or whatever the fuck, which is probably what I'm thinking I might do with this character. That feels like the way to go. Go hammer into level, complete hell difficulty grind for a bit, and then respec to Smite. Now, I could go hard in the paint for like, is that the only thing in there? It is. I could go hard in the paint and try and hit 99 with this character, which, sort of why we're playing ladder, but at the same time I'm prepared for the fact that I might not do that, I'm completely prepared for it. What would that take me to? I don't know, what is it? What's the bonus? It's not enough. but let's just go. Another point in Holy Fire. Might go back to town because we've got a bunch of stuff. Bunch of stuff worth selling. We can get 20 health, which would be nice. You know, living the dream. We've got ourselves a pretty sort of... That design, I'm trying to think like... Where, I mean, obviously there's lots of... I remember it from like... The kind of art style of it from like cartoons and stuff. And like things, but I can't think. I'm like trying to think what kind of culturally that is inspired by. I guess maybe Greek. Yes. Like this, because it's like a sun kind of flame. I don't know. Who knows? I don't. Not me. Not I. No, not I do. Okay, so we got some of them, and then we could hope, but it wasn't. How about this one? Nah. Wait. He's got these for sale. I mean, +2 to Blessed Hammer. Oh, God. It's 149k. That'd be really good for a respec. +1 to all Paladin skill levels would be better. But, you know, yeah. Can't win them all, I guess. Alright, so... Now we just move on deeper and explore. Try and push for that. Next waypoint would be nice. A great march skip would be good. The last character I was leveling and doing this area with, I kept getting constant great march skips, which was awesome, but I just could not for the life of me find any of the waypoints, and things kept coming up. So I kept having to do it over and over again, and it sucked. It sucked a lot. It felt like such a waste of these beautiful great march skips. Because obviously if you can just hammer through them, it's like beautiful. Absolutely beautiful if you can just power on through them. Just straight on, go past the marsh, whatever. So just, that's the other thing, is just having... having it out of the way is really nice. It means I don't have to worry about it anymore. I can just go about my business, do my thing. This looks like waypoint area here. Maybe not. That's the other thing. We need to pick up all the stuff like clasped orbs and all that kind of shit, because we are looking to buy ourselves a... Oh, I didn't have anything in there yet. Okay. We're looking to buy ourselves a teleport staff, which could be very expensive. Hopefully we'll get lucky and we'll find one that's just teleport. Just teleport charges, because that'll make it way cheaper. But we'll buy it first when we see if we've got the money, because it's not worth dicking around. We want it, especially, ideally we want it before, obviously we want it before level 24, because that just makes it easy to get. But we want it before we go into, you know, certain areas, because it makes navigating those certain areas so much better. You know, actually the Flared Dungeon is one of them that with teleport. It's a completely different experience, a far better experience.
I can't carry it. It's locked.
Okay, so now that we've got that.
Good day. Greetings.
No, we want that. We don't want to sell that at all. Sell that. Sell that. Sell that. Is that rune worth anything? Not much. Not worth selling anyway. Okay. Ditch everything that we don't want. Oh yeah, I should do this. Ah, oh yeah, I've got to stash my money. Better do that. Better get that taken care of, you know what I'm saying? Feel me? Feel me? Know what I mean? Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm talking about? Okay, what you got for me, Ormus? No teleport charges on that. No teleport charges on that. Alright, well. This would be so much faster with Vigorora. Nah. Wait, what about that one that I can't wield? No, it's just straight up +2 to teleport. Come on, TP charges. Give them to me. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Give me them TP charges. I probably shouldn't say TP since that means town portal in this game. Alright, this one.
Yes.
Come on. Stop putting +1 to teleport on there and give me +1 to teleport charges.
Hello.
Yeah, we're going to be here a while.
Yes.
I'll try one more time and then we'll just continue moving forward because, you know, we're burning daylight here, so to speak. So, we don't want to spend all our time doing this. Yeah, let's move on. Okay. Okay, I'm good on carrying stuff, like wearing things now. Alright, now, if you're wondering why I just did that, it's because we're going to respec anyway, so we may as well build something that is effective, so to speak, rather than worrying about what is or isn't ideal to put in the build. We are ultimately going to respec into Hamilton, unless, I mean, I'll open up, you know, talking about builds here. why don't we just open up Icy Veins and just have a look? And, you know, it's good to check in. It's good to have a look and see how effective certain things are. Because actually, I'm gonna say this. If there is a new build worth trying, why not try it? That's the time to do this. Dream, nah, that requires dreams. That's sort of a Tesla den anyway, I guess. Nah, it seems all pretty standard. Wait, does whoa, they do a lot of damage. Woo! That was rough. Okay. I mean, if we were to go into... So, the Avenger Paladin is an interesting one, if we were just to use that as an example. Because there are two possibilities for it. You can go with Fanaticism, which just increase your damage output, or you can go with Conviction. Conviction is arguably better, but if we were to do it, I suppose if we were to swap back into okay, so it's only from the resist skills, so yeah, it wouldn't matter. I was going to say, I wonder what we could be if we moved into it. I have played a Vengeance Paladin and leveled it before. It is cool because you can attack pretty much everything, so you know you don't have to worry about that. It's not something that's an issue. It's slow, but if you do, like, you don't even need crazy good items for that one, fortunately. Obviously, the Paladin's melee classes are pretty strong compared to the rest of the classes in the rest of the characters in Diablo 2. It's just, I think when people talk about it being weak or whatever, it's just not as safe as a smiter, but it's way faster if you ask me, if you're leveling it. And, you know, it doesn't do nearly as much damage as a Foden or a Hammerden, but, like, what other classes do as much damage as a Hammerden, you know? It's Blizzard. That's it, right? And you can only farm one area, so... Like, people talk about how good it is, but it's monotonous and boring to play that class, if you ask me. That's why I like Hydra Sorceress, because it just gives you a bit of variety when you're farming. It's nice to be able to do everything. You can, you know, if you got a strong mercenary, you can do countess and all that kind of shit. I mean, I'll take a fire res hit for 20% magic find. Hell yeah. Oh yeah, while we're here. Huh? No. Chain lightning charge is lame. Is that free socket? Well, we're keeping that. Because that's the enigma I'm never going to make. Is there? No, it doesn't. And there's the Flared Dungeon, of course. Although... See, this is an interesting one. We're going to take what I'm going to refer to as the... Ooh! That 20% magic find is paying off! Ah, it's Griswold's Edge. Why did I get excited? It's not that great. knock 12 plus 12 to knockback is not helping me here. Let's see where we're at damage wise if I take a 1 point hit on Holy Fire. 470. I mean, it's alright. Damage. Probably not worth it. Plus 1 to Holy Fire is probably better. We'll hold on to it though. It's also ethereal. Very fast attack speed though, which is nice. 12 to 19 fire damage. We're going to keep it.
Can't carry it.
It's,
I can't.
okay, so keeping that because that's the Enigma base we'll never use. Put that there because say I'll use the first for it's our trophy.
Good morning.
Trophy pick. One of these days I should do a grail run. I should start a grail run and actually keep track of what I found. Oh yeah, let's check. Enchant. So I tell you what I did watch today. First episode of the new series of Bleach. The 1,000-Year Blood War arc. It was pretty cool. It was sick to see, you know, Ichigo back, and I've been waiting for it for a long time. Dude, free socket axe. Damn, there's some half decent stuff showing up here. You know?
Good day.
Wrong way of identifying.
Greetings.
Yeah, okay, they were worth bugger all. Has he got something for me today? No. Ahem. All right, so where were we? Ah, yes. So we come back down here. We're just gonna drop one of them. I know that might seem strange, but we're doing it. Oh yeah, the gid bin. Oh, we'll just go back and do that later. Where is he? There he is.
This blade shall pierce the heart of evil.
Is this mask worth anything, I wonder? Wait, what am I... Oh, God, I feel like I did that like such a fucking jackass. Anyway, we're going to leave that there and we're going to go push up and get one of the Kurast waypoints. And then we're going to come back down and do this because we'll do the Flare dungeon and teleport back and the Flare dungeon and teleport back and just go straight to, you know, Kurast and do the sewers and then push through and we should be able to knock out, you know, most of this stuff pretty quickly. If we did happen to find like a waypoint in here, for example, that'd be pretty good. Oh man, these guys are worth so much XP. It's very nice. Very nice how much they're worth. Okay, we got a waypoint, so in that case we will sell this and then go do. You know, I did say we were going to do it the other way, but see, the thing is we got a waypoint right there, so we may as well just... Oh, what's this ring? Oh, that's heaps good. We might equip it because, you know, slightly less lightning damage would suck, but so much more cold rays would be heaps good. So we're gonna do that. I mean, just having everything at close to, you know, between 30 and 50% is good. It's good. There's nothing else to it. It's really, really good. One of these is going to be a teleport charges. Eventually, we're going to get teleport charges. Okay. Yeah, we'll keep doing Holy Fire for now. Wait, did I just do it? No, I didn't. Apparently not. I misclicked or some shit. I don't know. This one. And now into the Flare dungeon we go. Now, will we get lucky and not have to fight Stygian crawlers / bone fetishes / whatever the fuck else they have as a name? Because there's got to be at least 3 per character. Bats, not bats. Fucking bats. Long storied relationship I have with the goddamn bats. Didn't mean to press that one. Wait, what's it with? 5 to energy, +1 to maximum damage. I mean, it'll be better as an alternative long term. Anyway, a new Bleach episode, so good. Been waiting for it for a long time. Huge into Bleach. It's one of the first shonen anime I watched. And one of my first experiences with an anime that wasn't a Ghibli movie or, you know, Dragon Ball, Yu-Gi-Oh, that kind of thing. It was all the rage when I was a kid. So I was super excited and it was really good. And I was very glad that they finally released it. Because obviously anyone who's a fan of Bleach would probably know that back in the day, it was crazy popular. It was by far the most popular of the Forbidden Four and the Big Three. Forbidden Four being Dragon Ball as a collective, like entity, including Z and GT and all that. Bleach, One Piece, and Naruto. And then there was a period of time where the most popular manga in Shonen Jump were Bleach, Naruto, and One Piece, I believe, in that order. And then it suddenly started to rapidly decline in popularity, and it finished very abruptly. And then the manga was then rushed through, and the series stopped. I think I made 380 episodes of it. I think it was 360 episodes. And it kind of really fell apart at the end, and the story got convoluted, and there was a whole bunch of problems with it. And everybody was left kind of disappointed because we wanted better and we wanted more, and we felt kind of, you know, shortchanged, if you will. That doesn't mean we were, that's just, you know, sort of how we felt. Oh, God, the screen gets so bright when you do it in Classic. Ooh. Anyway, it was very good. The animation was great. The story seems interesting. I've read a bit of the 1,000-Year Blood War arc. I know a bit about it, but, you know, nothing crazy. What does that boost my damage to? Nothing. So we'll stick with life. The life is better. I was just excited to see it again. It was really cool. The classic Karakura team music was used. I don't know what the... Oh, fuck me. I don't know what the actual name of the piece is, or like whose theme it is. I guess it's kind of Ishigo's theme. And it got me all excited. I was like, yeah, this is awesome. So that was kind of cool. There were definitely some, hit some nostalgia buttons. I think that's something that sets those ones apart especially, though. Anime like Bleach, is that Bleach and Naruto both have really, really good music. Dragon Ball Z obviously has a great theme, great Western theme song. In Rock the Dragon, of which they just use multiple parts of that song, for the various theme tunes as it goes on. But, there are some... Otherwise, the music's pretty bland, I guess. And the Dragon Ball intro and outro music, like the original Dragon Ball intro and outro music, is incredible, both Japanese and Western versions of the Japanese theme music. But the actual theme music of the show or the score is not so great. Whereas with One Piece and Bleach, with Naruto and Bleach, the music is incredible all the way through, and that's one of the things that makes the show so good, because all of the moments feel way cooler and way more important, and give you way more payoff, because there's so much gravitas to them, because it's very well scored. Obviously, there are some great examples of that. Lord of the Rings does it really well. Star Wars, from an action movie genre, Beverly Hills Cop, Axel Foley's theme is incredibly well written, and all the way through it, there's lots of different ways in which that theme is used and plays out, like where the music is sort of different parts of the song. It's designed with lots of ups and downs, so they can use different parts throughout different bits of the movie to give it that extra weight. Very well done. But yeah, so obviously they used Ishigo's theme, and it was so good. And anyone who's watched that show knows it. They know exactly what I'm talking about. It's got like the orchestral kind of harmony, operatic harmony-esque singing almost in it. It'd be reminiscent. It's like almost like a dance version of... If anyone who's watched Attack on Titan, there's a similar vocal style in that, whereas it's just there's this harmony that's backed by this huge, powerful orchestral kind of score behind it, while going on in like a dance song or like a rock song. It's just like a bunch of power behind it. Yeah, it was good. I would recommend it to anyone who's interested in checking it out, especially anyone who likes Bleach. It's already better than the Fullbring arc, which I had some cool moments. It was some interesting concepts, but it didn't deliver great. It felt rushed, Whereas this, I unfortunately know where it's going, and I know some things that are going to happen from, reading the manga and all that kind of stuff. So, but I'm looking forward to seeing it play out in this context. Should be pretty cool. And it's just nice to have Bleach again. I've rewatched that one. It's funny how there's an itch that very few anime scratch. That scratches. Naruto kind of got there. Naruto Shippuden anyway. And then obviously the second half of original Naruto is pretty good at scratching it as well. We're gonna do it like this. We want to carry as much back as we can. That'll probably do. Oh, we'll get this jewel if we can. Yeah, I'll probably do. Yeah, it scratches an itch, and I can't explain what that itch is. And sometimes it can only be scratched by binging shonen anime. It's something I always used to do, was just binge anime like that. Because they were all done. So it's like, oh, you want to watch Hunter x Hunter? Here's the original series and the better, for the most part, better and more superior 2011 version that sticks closer to the manga. Certain moments in the original one are just animated better and have more weight and more impact. It can feel very flat and very unimpactful sometimes in the 2011 one. But ultimately, I would say it's better. But still, like, just being able to binge anime like that, and there's an itch that Bleach scratched that not many other series did for me. And even rewatching stuff now, like I rewatched Naruto, and that's really good. And I watched One Piece, and I'm up to date on that. And I've rewatched certain arcs before, but Bleach is something that is just, it's paced so well. The original Bleach series is paced so well. It's 360 something episodes, and the last, I think it's got to be somewhere in the ballpark of 320, maybe, for the Aizen arc, for the total Kurikawa Town, Aizen arc, all of that, like, because the Fullbring is the last arc they animated. And it is so well paced, and everything happens in the right amount of time, and people get powers and things get up. It is the best paced shonen anime I think I have ever seen. It is so... Ooh, look at this. It is so good. And, you know, there are a couple other anime, like I'm trying to think of, I think Hitman Reborn, which is only 100 and something episodes, is pretty well paced. It's also interesting. That's one that scratched that kind of itch. And that might have been made by the same studio that did Bleach, something, I get the impression that it was, like just the way it feels and whatnot. But yeah, it's which also Hitman Reborn is great if anyone is interested in seeing it. It's an incredible shonen anime. You know, and there are alternatives to that. Like obviously you've got something like Full Metal Alchemist, and then the superior Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which is you know, just one of the best anime ever made. One of the best adaptations ever made. You know, it just stays true to an incredibly well-written source material. At least Brotherhood does, anyway. But it's a different thing, that it's a different itch that it's scratching. There's like this hokey shonen kind of trash, garbage TV quality to what are ultimately well-made series like Bleach and Naruto. That, you know, there's power of friendship, there's all that kind of horse shit, but they're just the anime that do it best, or the series that do it best. And most of them have pretty decent manga, if not superior manga, you know. You know, some have a definitive, some shows have a definitive experience in one version or another. Like I feel like the definitive Berserk experience is the manga, and it's all to do with the art style. You know, and obviously when you have that horrible CG animated continuation of the original series, which the original series is really good. If anyone hasn't seen it, there's no CG in it. It's they only do the Golden Age arc. They don't do anything else in it. Well, it's still really good. They do one episode of the Black Swordsman arc, which is exactly how the manga starts. If anyone's read it, they tell that exact story in the manga at the beginning. As a matter of fact, oh God, the opening frame of the manga really sets you in for what it's going to be. With what Guts does in the opening panel, it's wild. It's absolutely wild, and I won't say what it is. I think anybody who's interested in reading it should just do that. Read it. It's a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece of storytelling. It's a masterpiece of art, of just like artistic expression in the way it's illustrated. That's the word I'm looking for. It's a mastercraft and master class and masterpiece of illustration. It's all three of those things. A masterwork, a master class, because like if you want to see how it should be done, it's like that. And there are certain things that like you might notice as you're reading it. Like something that I noticed from an artistic standpoint is, I guess it's a conscious choice, maybe it wasn't, but it always starts out, it inverts, the color pattern inverts by the end of the chapter. So, you know, if you're reading it in a volume, you might have 3 chapters, you'll be able to tell when a chapter is coming to a close because the colors will become inverted. Now it's just black and white, right? So when I say it gets inverted, I mean all the shading initially is done in black, as in it's a white panel with white highlights, with like white clothing. All the things that should be light are light and white in color, right? And then what happens is you end up by the end of it having all of those things be black instead, which completely changes the way the animation feels. And often you get some quite impactful things by the end of it. So it's really cool the way it just kind of consistently does that and gets darker and darker and darker over the course of the chapter. And by the end of it, it's completely, it's completely inverted, like I said. The Ruined Temple. This should be the one we're looking for Liam Neeson's tome, which I haven't been doing recently because it's a lot of work on the later difficulty levels. So extra fast fucking enchanted enemies. Ugh. We need that spot free for the tome. And we will now go back. I'm sure we're near a thingo, but we may as well go back. I think we just need to talk to Alcor from Liam Neeson's tome. Did the Gid bin. So that gave me extra 5 stats. Now we want to sell some shit. Best way to make money early game, selling armor, because they're all generally worth at least $5,000 a pop. There we go. We'll just check if there's a cheaper one. No, there's not. Sweet. See that? Plus the teleport charges. Oh, I got 169k. We don't have the money. No. No. It's finally there and we don't have the money. Oh, damn it. And there's not enough. Oh, yeah, 11k. So if we stash it all, where are we at? Nowhere near enough. 148. So we're gonna have to give up on that one, unfortunately. It's a bummer, but it is what it is. It was finally there, damn it. Yeah, it's reading. I started reading manga out of impatience. I didn't do it because I'm obsessed with it. It's because I would be watching things like One Piece was actually, well, obviously reading Berserk, but One Piece was the thing that caused me to start reading manga, because I love One Piece, but I got sick of what I call shonen recap syndrome, which is where the first 8 to 9 minutes of the episode is just recapping what happened the previous week before you actually get into anything, and then it spends forever dicking about trying to tell multiple stories, and the pacing is all off, and then you don't have any of those issues when you read the manga. It's all like substance, it's not, your time's not being wasted. And I got sick of feeling like my time was being wasted after having to wait a whole week for a new episode of the show. So anyway, that happened, and then my eyes were opened up to the joys of reading. I started reading a bunch of stuff. I read my hero now. Jujutsu Kaisen, which is it's so good. Obviously, the series is great. I read all of Kimetsu no Yaiba or Demon Slayer. I read all of it, and it was so good. It was so incredibly good. It ended really well. It was fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Yeah, and it's nice just to be able to read them. Chainsaw Man, that was another one. That was a great series. And especially ones like that, anything that's reminiscent of Berserk in ways, like Jujutsu Kaisen, Chainsaw Man, they all have roots in a certain kind of thing, which is... no good. Which is, I'm going to call it the Devilman sort of area, which is Devilman and Berserk occupy a specific space. Obviously, if you know anything about Devilman, you know that there was a TV series, like an anime made in, I think, the late 60s, early 70s. Very old. Devilman is very old. That was super hokey, and we'll call it Super Sentai-esque. Not like Super Sentai, but it's very like a Super Sentai type show. It felt that way. It felt very 60s, very Showa era Japan, hokey and gimmicky, and, if you've ever seen Speed Racer or something like that, it's very Hanna-Barbera, all that kind of stuff. So it might, if you'd seen that but not seen, very Astro Boy. There's a good example. It's very similar to Astro Boy in many ways, but obviously more adult and more violent. But not by much. But if you've read the manga, or you've seen any of the subsequent adaptations, like even something super recent like Crybaby, that doesn't beat around the bush with the themes, and it's very violent, very adult, and it occupies a certain space. It's like something that's clearly targeted at an older audience, and one of those kind of breakthrough series like that. And Berserk also occupies that space. And in the 90s, they did the Berserk adaptation, but they did a bunch of other ones. They did Devilman, Amon Apocalypse, the movie, which is fantastic. If you're into Devilman and that kind of thing, it's so good. But they did a couple of Devilman movies. They did Vampire Hunter D. They did Trigun, Cowboy Bebop, Eater Man, Outlaw Star, all of this stuff that was targeted at an older audience, but they had something in common, which was they were very, very gritty, or like very adult thematically. Like they didn't beat around. It wasn't just that they were targeted at an adult audience. They didn't beat around the bush. They had very confronting themes, especially, Devilman and Berserk. On top of that, they have like spin-offs, like obviously Devilman has the Violence Jack series spin-off, which is known as one of the most violent anime ever, which led forth the people making things like Apocalypse Zero, which all feel like direct predecessors to stuff like Jujutsu Kaisen or Demon Slayer, where they've taken the violent animation and the gore and the adult themes, but they've combined it with a bit more robust storytelling, for lack of a better way of putting it. But I feel like all of those anime, as good as they are, their definitive experiences can be found in a manga. There's just something about the way it's drawn in a lot of them where it just works, where it just the level of violence just seems to fit in a way. It's quite impactful and sort of atmospheric, and like it conjures up all of these things. Just because it's like, it's very visceral. It can be very visceral in a good way because of the way it's drawn, the way it's illustrated, and the contrast used of light and dark, colors and shading can make it very visceral. And so I found anything that's like super violent like that works really well. Like anyone who reads graphic novels, like Eastman and Laird, Ninja Turtle stuff, has exactly that going on. Frank Miller Batman stuff, Dark Knight Returns, The Killing Joke, A Death in the Family, all of these incredible, oh, the family dinner one, whatever the fuck that one was, where the Joker cuts their faces off, or at least he thinks that the Joker cut their faces off. So let's go ahead and hit this bad boy. You know, there's so many good graphic novels like that. And it's just, there's something about it, experiencing it in that medium. And I think one of the reasons we like it so much when we do get it animated is because we don't see it very often. A good example would be, anyone who's seen the DC movies, like the Flashpoint paradox, or the Flashpoint universe, if you will, which was kicked off initially with the Flashpoint paradox movie. It has like Doom and all that kind of stuff in it. That series of DC, New 52 DC movies, did all the Apocalypse invasions, the death of Superman and whatnot. And in Apocalypse War, the final Justice League movie, it's like they just kill everyone off. They're like, who do we want to focus on? We need to get Superman and Batman out of it. So here's how they got rid of. They don't die, just so you know, but because Superman's already died prior in one of the episodes, and Batman, they don't kill you. You don't kill off Batman. That's just how that works. But they're like, how do we deal with these characters? And I'm like, just have the Doomsday like monster things, just tear them all in half and like rip them into pieces and shit. It's like, you know, and they don't fuck around. Like the Teen Titans are torn apart. You know, like they're absolutely butchered. Starfire's in. Nightwing turns up and finds him. I think it's Nightwing, or maybe it's Damian. Someone turns up and finds him, and Starfire's just there in two pieces, and he's like hugging both halves of it. Like, fuck, this is full on. They're not dicking around. They fight horrific cyborgs of them later on. They have like multiple arms. Martian Manhunter has spider legs, you know, robot spider legs. It's brutal. It's fucking brutal. They do not dick around, and I think it makes it way more impactful because you're so used to not seeing it. And then you start cheering for it because you're like, hey, they didn't tone it down. They gave us what the story was. And I think it becomes so refreshing because we're so used to it being, you know, weak sauce, for lack of a better term. That's why the first Deadpool movie was so successful, because he's a character that needs an R rating. He just needs it by nature of it. Well, he doesn't need an R rating, but here in Australia we have MA, so that would work too. You know, you could get that movie could have potentially been MA here. I feel like making it R was part of the marketing campaign. But, you know, it kind of requires that sort of a treatment. Oh my god. That's teleport charges and +1 to teleport lame. You know, it needs that kind of a treatment. It just does. And we're so used to never getting it. We're so used to getting the PG version, or the G version, or whatever it is. When we want the one we want the one for the audience it was originally targeted at, you know. Imagine if they made a PG rated. I mean, was the Spawn movie, I don't know what the rating of the Spawn movie was. I might look it up. The series was not. The series was hard R. 97 film. Let's see, what's the rating on that? 96 minutes. Yeah, they did. They made the movie was PG-13 in America, so that would just be PG here. I should say that too. I'm in Australia, so our rating system is different to America. In America, you have PG-13. We don't have PG-13. We just have PG. There's no age thing on it. It just says recommended parental guidance. And then we have M, which is recommended for people 15 years and older. Then we have MA, which is restricted for 15 years and older. So all your MA movies will have violence, will have blood, will have swearing. Usually, it's usually sexual content that will push it into, or drug use that will push it into an R rating. But even then, like, you know, people getting stoned on spliffs and stuff, that'd be MA rating. People taking some drugs in a movie, that'd be MA rating. It has to usually be pretty consistent and full on. There we go. That's what we want. We've got it. Got it, guys. Got our stuff. 68 grand. Cool. It's usually content like that that'll push it into an R rating, or like consistent, like over the top content like that. But for the most part, many of the things you see will be MA or M. You know, like most action movies, like, you know, Commando is an is an R-rated movie, for example. But like True Lies, you know, I think in Australia, I'm pretty sure Total Recall is MA rated. You know, and that's got nudity and violence and gore and eyes bulging out of a skull and mutants and all sorts of stuff. But yeah, that would be MA rating. And then, like I said, PG is just parental guidance. We have M, so M, like, I mean, movies like The Matrix will be M. People die in it. There's violence. There's, you know, but it's not gory. It's not whatever. Pretty much the only things that are going to be R are going to be like super gory horror movies and stuff like that. You know, anything with like heaps of sexual content in it, like heaps of nudity. You know, like I'm pretty sure The Godfather is MA over here, whereas, I mean, I'm sure that's R in some places. Scarface is MA, or well, maybe it's R. I'm pretty sure it's MA. But like, you know. So, I guess I just wanted to point that out, because when people are like, oh, they made a PG-13. Here in Australia, like, it's a little different. It's a little more nuanced in that regard, because we have the extra ratings. So, they can be a little more specific on what they're, you know, rating it. It also depends when it was made. When it was made and rated affect, like, for sure, change what the rating should be, you know. Mad Max 2 is R-rated. It's not an R-rated movie. I think Mad Max 1 might be R-rated. There's nothing to make it an R-rated movie by modern standards. But, you know, in 1979 or whenever it was released, I get it. But equally, you could compare that to Evil Dead 1, which deserves, I would say, even if the effects look really dated nowadays, I would say it deserves its R rating in terms of the violence and actually the themes, you know, how it all starts, what happens to the girl in the forest, which we won't go into, but if you've seen the movie, you know. It's a very infamous scene. So there's definitely aspects of it that earn it its R rating, you know. Where there are lots of movies which have one that don't need it by modern standards. I think, isn't The Little House on the Left or whatever, that's... I mean, I haven't seen that in a long time. Maybe it is worthy of it. But I wouldn't say The Exorcist needs an R rating. There's, you know, it's one of the best horror movies ever made. It's got a great atmosphere. It's super melancholy. But I think that thematically it's like... I mean, obviously there's a certain religious element that might have annoyed certain groups in 1976. Was that when it came out? 76, 77, around then? So for sure I can see that, like, that's another context that plays into it, is that, like, I live in Australia, which is the vast, you know, we're very multicultural, lots of religions, but the vast majority of people, like the largest single group is agnostic. So that, and agnostic will include atheists, like in that, but it's like non-religious, non-secular, or whatever they call it. So, you know, it's like that could have been why it got an R rating, or why something would get an R rating, because it's got religious themes that at the time were considered unacceptable topics or targets of a topic or whatever, you know. So, wow, I'm really on a tangent here, aren't I? Oh well. Let's keep it going, keep it flowing, keep talking, voicing, you know. But yeah, it's interesting to look back at some of that stuff too, because like I said, you know, The Exorcist I think is an M rating. What I would call it. You know, recommended that teenagers and up should watch it. And that's, I think, more than fair assessment of it, because it is for sure could be scary in a bad way to a kid who's too young to watch it. It for sure has an age in which it would be scary as shit for someone. Like, there's definitely, you know, people, they're not everyone's like me and watching horror movies from a young age and loving it. Like, it's for sure got elements about it which would scare the shit out of a kid who's too young to watch it. And potentially scare them and cause some scarring, you know? Some emotional scarring, if you will. But I think for most people above the age of 15 that are relatively well adjusted,
Shine anew with the light.
I think for most people that are 15 or older and well adjusted, they'll be able to handle something like The Exorcist. I think none of the themes in it are, you know, I think the effects are dated enough. They still look pretty good, but I think that they're dated enough, and, you know, just everything about it is in a way where the average exposure of someone to things would allow them to deal with it more than adequately, is my opinion on it, if they're 15 or older. Whereas in 1976, okay, maybe it was shocking, it was new, but, you know, there are other movies where I totally get it. Like I said, The Evil Dead is a good one. The first two Evil Dead movies, both of them. The second one is scary. It could be scary to someone for a whole different series of reasons to what the first one is. You know, there's a whole different section of like why the second movie could be scary versus the first one. So, you know, let's not sit here and think there aren't movies that are worthy of it, that are old. You know, Halloween, I think, is... Halloween... Sorry, I said Halloween. Sorry, I'm a big fan of the band. Halloween, I think, is one that is a good example of a movie that's definitely... I mean, I don't know. I've never really found movies scary, so... Except when I was really, really young. But I'm also kind of fascinated by it, if that makes sense. It might seem strange, but I have like a weird fascination with things that unnerve me or frighten me or whatever. Always have been like that. It's not that I like being scared. I just have because I don't really get scared. I have like a drive to confront things that I find uncomfortable. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like some kind of weird thrill-seeking thing. But I've always been like that.
I can't carry anymore.
Let's see. I wonder what other movies are probably... I'm going to try and think of some other movies that are still worthy of their rating, that got a rating a long time ago. I think Scarface is an R. I'm pretty sure that's an R rating. I don't think it needs to be an R rating. I think MA is enough. I think that people 15 and older, again, well-adjusted people are going to be able to watch that. Like, anyone who's sitting here going, well, it's R-rated because of all the drug use, it doesn't glorify drug use. It might initially appear that way, but it's definitely that movie is about the rise and downfall of Tony Montana. He falls apart in the end. You know, he dies, he has to shoot out, he gets high of his own supply. I don't think it glorifies it, personally. You know? Now, maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe I'm misguided in my opinions, but even if it does fucking glorify it, who cares? You're not going to stop kids from experimenting and trying drugs and things like that. So you may as well educate them, right? But I don't think it's worthy of an R rating anymore. Like I said, MA. Or if there was maybe an M18 plus where it's recommended for adults but not restricted to them. Because Well, I suppose 3 years does make a huge difference at that age. You know, because your brain is developing so much at that point in time. So maybe that's a fair assessment. But you know, I don't. You know, I don't buy the way. I don't like the way people that differentiate certain things and be like, well, it's got drug use, so that's illegal. So you know, it has to be an R rating. When somehow that's watching someone do a mountain of blow is somehow more traumatic than, you know, the violence or the sexual nature and some of the themes of the other things. Yeah. So, I don't know. Yeah. It's an interesting conversation to be had. Let's see. Worthy of an R rating. Worthy of an R rating. I mean, there's tons of horror movies that are worthy of an R rating. Because, if not because of their themes, just because they're so bad that you could be psychologically damaged by having to sit through something that awful. So you may as well make sure you're an adult making a conscious decision to watch it. I mean, you expose yourself to some of the fucking trash that's out there. And I mean, you know, you add in like the idea of like Skinamax films or like exploitation films. You know. I mean, they're in many ways just a harmless bit of fun, but also, you know, I don't know. I'm not going to determine what is or isn't appropriate in that regard. Everybody is different, especially when it concerns that kind of theme. You know, it's kind of like the idea that there are people out there that complain about the mollycoddling of, you know, everybody in Gen Y and Gen Z, of which I'm a part of Gen Y, by the way, in case, you know, I'm a millennial. Some people need to be coddled. There are people out there that need coddling, and they're going to be like that regardless. So it's not fair to say that everybody being coddled is, you know, equally no one being coddled is also bad. Because like I said, there are certain people that need that. It's just, they're not going to survive without it. And I mean, once upon a time, we would have just said, well, that's evolution, you know. Nowadays, we don't. And if we're not going to let evolution take its course, then we have to accept that some people need to be coddled and some people don't. Okay, we may as well start shifting over. Just because I don't want to get rid of all these mana potions since I will inevitably use them. Well, there's some decent stuff be dropped there. I don't want to pick that up. Stay out of here. You want to pop this chest right here always because it's a super chest, so you could get some real good stuff from it, you know? Alright, sweet, and that is Act 3 done, which is nice. And yes, I know I took longer than I needed to because I was trying to make money along the way. But Act 5 will blast through. The actual Chaos Sanctuary can take a while depending on how slow you have to take it. Now, what was the mask? Was it Cafan's? Actually, pretty good. Plus 20 mana, 25 cold resistance. Right now, that is a good helm. You know? And if we had to change into if we had to change into Hammerden, we want the plus 20% increased mana by 20% or whatever it was. More. Yeah. then we want 20% of damage goes to mana. Although that could be good, we definitely want the extra mana first. More, I would say. So you don't have to do it that way. That's just how I would, you know, approach that situation.
What do you need?
All right. Well, let's go get. What level is that? Oof. All right. Let's go get level 24, and then we have to push for 25 and 25. To meet our XP leveling spec, because without that we cannot get any XP in. Whoa. Without it we can't get any XP in Act 5, more or less. Or we can, but it'll be so low. So it's probably almost time to respec into Hammerden. We probably want more fire res as well. I suppose we can just, if I go like this, and go like that, right? And then at least that's a good way to just immediately get some. Yeah, judging by this, it might be time to respec. I mean, we got some good damage, but because it's all fire damage, it's really not helping us, you know? The other reason to respec a little later on is because hammers don't, they come online like straight away in a way, but they don't until a little bit later. Like, you got to get some points in there in concentration for it to really sort of open up into a super effective damage type. Although it's got to be, like, I'm already feeling the burn in terms of fire. I mean, it's doing alright, actually. I'll take it back. It's still killing everything in a couple of hits. I don't know. How far should I push? That's the question. That's the question we'll ask ourselves today. How far should I push with Holy Fire? Do you know what? I should get those levels. I should get those levels before I or the next level, because right now I can go into Act 3 and absolutely rinse through dude, that is some good cold res. It'd be better if it was fire res. Just that instant fire res would be so much better. What we might do is we might go back into Act 3 and kill flayers and stuff, because I can take so many of them out at a time. It'll be a really efficient way to get XP versus what we're doing here. So maybe we'll try and find the River of Flame. Oh, yes. That is such a win. It's all right there. Oh, yes. That's so lucky. Getting Azul straight away. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. We talk to Azul, who is all like, haha, screw Tyrael. I didn't accidentally fall and regret it. I'm an asshole. Ha 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 ha. Fool. Fool. Let's sell some stuff. Sell that. Sell that. Sell that. That's good, but we're selling it. I mean, it could be useful for Act 5, but it shouldn't be too much of an issue. We're equipping this, and then my inventory. So let's just quickly do that. Got our teleport charges equipped. Sell this bad boy. Sell that bad boy. Buy a whole bunch of these, and buy a bunch more of these by doing this. And then that. And put them back in the thing. Still got 31k left over. Come over here, repair the shit out of my gear. Alright, so now we're going to push, get the River of Flame waypoint, and then we'll go probably do some leveling, just because we got to get our mercenary up as well, otherwise he will not gain levels, which Nightmare, he's going to be completely useless. If we don't get him some levels, he's going to be completely useless, more or less, until we can get the Act 2 Nightmare one. And you know what? I don't need an Act 2 Nightmare 1 necessarily. Oh, I suppose I should go to Holy Freeze, but I don't have to, you know. You know, I could stick with this guy for ages if I wanted. A Thesaurus boots would be really good right about now. Oh, damn, really? You killed him? You fucking killed him? Damn it, why you gotta kill him? There's so many of them. Alright, they'll die eventually. Maybe. Hopefully. I've probably passed it already. The exit. Venom Lords are cool. Man, it's so cheap to resurrect him right now. Boy, will that change. Okay, back into the plains of despair we go. Alright, these ones are way easier to kill. That's nice. Pit lords. Reminiscent of pit fiends. Stygian hag, eh? Oh, it's one of them Stygians again. Alright, where is the waypoint? Come on, waypoint. Alright, it's starting to get hard to hit shit now. That's the other reason that we're gonna respec very soon. I just want to find this waypoint. Is because it's getting real hard to hit shit, which means we definitely want to respec, because if you can't hit it, it doesn't matter how much damage you do if you can't hit it. You know? What was that all about? That digging. I mean, it's nice being able to just run around and kill shit by running around. Some people find this playstyle boring. I get it. I kind of like it, though. It's reminiscent of Diablo 3 whirlwinding. He's like, I'll just hold the button down and kill everything on screen. Oh my god, it was right here. Okay, so now that we've done that, I'm going to save and exit, jump back in. Okay, let's see what we got. We'll ditch our, obviously ditch the gems we found, which we might have to combine some of soon. And we'll go over here to the Flare Jungle, you know, up in this place. Now, again, the reason we're here is not because I need to level. By the end of this area, like by the end of Act 5, I will be level 25, which is what you need to be to break the experience cap. But my mercenary will not, so he will get no XP, and I'll be able to get all the way through Nightmare of him leveling up maybe once. So rather than dealing with that, we are just going to go and take care of this now, while it's nice and easy. Also, just hitting level 25 would be nice for me anyway. And once we've done that, when we get through it, we will respec into Hamadan. Although I must say the mob density right now, not great. Thought it would be better. Why here and not Act 5 grinding? Because the mercenary will get more XP. And because I'm killing them, you know, instantly. Like, I don't have to attack, so like, for what we're doing right now, this is brilliant. It'd be way more involved if I'd respect into hammers. Whereas here I can just do this. That's great. Because when theoretically when I hit level 22, he should start. When he hits level 22, he should start leveling faster. Glomes. Fucking glomes. Whoa, I see boots. Which is super important. Because the boots we have are not really that good. Oh, yes. 10% faster run walk. 10% faster hit recovery. 20% cold res. Who cares if... And... Oh, yes. Yes. Yes, please. Fucking cold res. Cold res? Which means we might be better off putting that other one on. That'll be really good for Nightmare, though. Not Nightmare, sorry, Act 5. And Glomes. We're not. Because we're going... Rather than that, we'll be getting FCR rings. We'll be using... Some beefier mob density would be nice. Let's exit load back in. Okay, and he's leveled up now, which is nice. They're good too. They're worth heaps of XP. And we're loving it as long as we're getting things like gems. Because at the very least, a gem you can combine together for something more useful, or you can sell it to make more money. You know, gems are good. We like gems. We like Unraveler heads generally, a lot of the time. Maybe not right now. Oh, yes. Experience shrine. Hell yeah. Now, maybe we can get lucky in here and get some quick dying stuff. Or a bunch of elites, maybe, might be nice. Or nothing. We could get absolutely nothing. When was Lower Kurast always this empty? Oh my god. Dude, this is bringing back memories looking at it like this. Yeah, dude. Dude, look at this shit. There's nothing. There's nothing. Why is there nothing to find? What's going on? Yeah, rune? Hell yeah. What did I need an L rune for? There was something, I remember there was something a while ago that I needed an L rune for. Or I wanted an L rune for to try and build something. And I can't remember what it was. I just remember finding it near impossible to find one. Oh, yeah. A short sword. What's that going to be? Huh. That's wild. Well, that'll be used on all the characters I level up because 9-14 damage at level 2 requirement. 5 to minimum damage, yeah. 20% bonus to attack rating. 25% chance of crushing blow. My god. That's the first time I've ever found that. And that is really good. It's obviously no good at this level, but if you've got it and you can share it with a level 2 character, that's so good. I mean, obviously it'll get outpaced quickly because that's what happens at those levels, but, you know, there's nothing to scoff at other than that. Dude, look at that. Level 20 Holy Fire. It's actually a lot of damage. That's so much more effective than pretty much any other melee build. Melee. It's definitely a glorious way to level up in early game. Just being able to run and not attack anything. Free sockets. So, there we go. We're holding on to that because that will be our Ancient's Pledge. Which we will 100% use prior to getting a Rhyme or a Splendor. Or, you know, obviously a Spirit would be the preferred. It's much easier. Obviously, it's much easier to get a shield, a Spirit shield for this character. Wait, let's see what that charm is. Yeah, we'll keep that. Fire res. Our reses are getting pretty high right now for where we're at. So that's nice. Definitely pick that up. That's worth money. God damn it. Of course Ooh, clasped orb now. All the money items. All the big ticket money. Big ticket items. Man, bone scarabs look cool. It's hard to get a good look at them right now for obvious reasons, but, you know, they look cool. Man, very rarely do I explore all of Travancore. Travincial? I think it's Travincial, right? Nah, it can't be because that would be IAL. So it has to be Travancore. Travinsal? 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 Travancore Travincial. I don't know. I don't know. What is a wait. What is a Travancore? What did I say in the law when they talk about it? Yeah, whatever. I don't know. Is that is indeed an experience shrine. God damn it. Is there any of them left? No. Well, in that case, let's not waste the last of this experience shrine. I can still use it. Although there's nothing to use it on, it would seem. Yeah. Did I hit level 25? I did. Okay.
Good day. Hello.
Oh, yes. We're going to keep those. Ancient's Pledge. So that'd be nice. And we're just going to hold on to that because that's good. So we have a nice series of stuff to equip as we get there. Does he sell stamina potions? No, he doesn't. Damn it.
Good day.
Okay. May they be dense and fruitful. I think it's so satisfying. It's the way they all seem to pop. Hey, Eisenharts. That's kind of cool. What does Eisenharts do for us again? We'll hold on to it for now. We hold on to all of that stuff early on and get rid of it later. When we finally convince ourselves that we don't need it, which we knew all along. Which really we knew all along. Alright, we'll slip in here. Hopefully there's a bunch of them in here. Not as many as I was hoping, but you know. Ooh, 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 yeah. Can we... Oh, does he automatically resummon? This is probably going to be a good spot, actually, isn't it? Because it should be full of them things. Apparently this is a great way to get gems, it would seem. I don't know if level 2 will be as fruitful. By the way, you don't need to level your mercenary. I just enjoy doing it. I figure, what's the point of having him if he can't actually help you? So, yeah. And I'm going to want a mercenary anyway, because I'm going to want Insight equipped on him, so... I mean, I'm going to change him in Nightmare, but... Like, it's just... He's nice to have in the meantime. It'll have something to give me a buffer when I'm... Hammerdening, you know... Till I get there. Ooh. Hello there. Well, we're going to check these ones first, just in case they're better than what I got. I mean, 8% magic fine's not bad, but wait, what are these? Vidala's 30% faster run walk. We will... And 150% max stamina. Was that? No, we definitely want to... Yeah. We found worse things in the past. Let's also grab... I saw a rejuve potion there. Wait, you can pick up Kalim's brain again? That is interesting. Well, I can't. I can make it drop it again, but... I guess there must have been some glitch where you could miss it or something. Maybe. Would be my guess. I should probably equip the faster run walk ones now, actually. Yeah. We'll swap them back. We'll swap them back after we're done doing what we're doing right now. You know? Maybe this could be the start of my Grail run. I should start a list just in case. I reckon. Okay. Oh, that movement speed is so nice. And since having those on doesn't affect my ability to do damage, that shall make this better. What's the damage on a scythe? 8 to 20. We could go in there again, but we're not going to. I did it last time. I'm not doing it again this time. Yeah. It's not a lot, but we'll stack reses right now. It makes a big difference. I mean, it's not going to matter nearly as much once we get an Ancient's Pledge, because that's going to give us such high res bonus. If we find, hopefully we can find a Paladin shield with like 3 sockets and a plus to all res already, because like that would make an Ancient's Pledge so much more efficient. Okay, you get such a high bonus to reses on it. That's really good damage.
I'll put that to good use. I'll put that to good use.
But there's no,
Put that to good use.
whoops. Oh, get that back.
I'll put that to good
There's no, what's his name on it? Life regen or life steal, so it's probably not worth it. You gotta hope out for that. You gotta keep a lookout for that 4 open socket shield and sword and everything. All the good stuff is 4 open sockets, I suppose, isn't it? I mean, this is yielding, in many ways, yielding good results doing this anyway. Getting runes and stuff. I mean, it's low level, so it's not like, you know, we're getting anything special out of it. But yeah, it's better than nothing, you know? That was such a waste of a teleport. If we can get him to level 25, me to level 26, that would be a good place, I think, to be. Because he should be getting XP in Act 4 then. I should be ready to... I mean, I wonder if Holy Fire is effective in Act 5. It might almost be worthwhile sticking with it. Because it's so easy. Such an easy, you know. Alright, so that's maxed out. So now... what does Salvation do? Yeah, now we'll just keep going. Resist fire. Where does that put us? What's he at? Is he... he's nearly there. He's nearly there. I like that. Great march skip on this one too. Okay, and we're there. Alright. Okay. Alright, so we're gonna head on back to here. Nope, not that one. We want to go here. And we will deposit our stuff that we now have. We are going to throw this in here because we're going to start building up a backup sort of money stash that's not directly tied in here. Obviously, we've ditched all our gems, I think, now, haven't we? Okay, and we will go ahead and equip these boots again. And let's look at what we got here. So the 20% magic fund, I don't really want to take it off. We'll be equipping 10 FCR fire 10 FCR ring in place of that if we change to Hammerden. But I kind of am enjoying playing Holy Fire, so I feel like I might just go Holy Fire till the end of normal, maybe, just because it's fun. And what's the point in playing unless you're, having fun? So we probably will just do that till the end of there. This could probably go, but right now it's not taking up too much room. Anyway, so that feels like a good spot to stop. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in the future. Check out my archive over at Rage Bagel on YouTube, and peace out, guys. See you in the future.